Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jonathan from Rev Free Moto. About ready to take a quick ride on my 2023 Harley Davidson Fat Boy 114 with the Vance Hines Eliminator PCX 300s. I absolutely love this motorcycle. Looking forward to taking a ride with you this evening. Got my Indy Ridge Crow boots. Keep my feet safe. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, appreciate your subscription. And appreciate you hitting that like button too. Really helps me out as I try to grow my channel. Work hard to make sure that my videos are good quality for you all. Good quality, cinematic quality video and clean audio. You can really hear the exhaust. I just wanted to do a quick video and talk about something that I believe is a sensitive topic to some people, and I think it's something we're all passionate about for one reason or another. And I guess my question is, what does it really mean to be American made, to be made in America? So this is coming from a comment on my first video that I recorded with the Harley Fat Boy, first motovlog anyway, that I was recording, and I was talking about how I traded my Indian motorcycle from my Polaris Indian motorcycle that I had for 5 years. It was a 2019 Indian Chief Vintage, and I traded it recently for this Harley Davidson Fat Boy 114. Hey. And one of the comments said, well, one of the reasons that I traded and changed over to the Harley was the lack of aftermarket options for the Indian. They discontinued the Chief Vintage in like 2020, 2021, something like that. I think they called it the Vintage for a little while, and then they just completely killed it altogether. So now there's the Springfield, which is about as close as you can get to the Indian Chief Vintage. But they discontinued the model, and with that they discontinued a lot of the parts, and there's a lot of the aftermarket options have dried up. I don't know that there ever were that many aftermarket options for the Indian Chief Vintage. But I was happy with it, and it was a good bike. But you know, after 5 years, sometimes you just need to change. And I love this motorcycle. I love this Fat Boy. So one of the comments was to my first motovlog was, when I talked about it, saying that I had abandoned my Indian motorcycle from a company, speaking of Indian, that sources makes 90 to 95% of their parts in America, and I signed up with Harley Davidson, and that 90 to 95% of their, according to this comment, 90 to 95% of the parts from Harley are made in China or elsewhere. Harley Davidsons, and it's 80% for Indian. You know, it's all over the map. Really, I don't think you can go to the Harley website and they're going to say, you know, this percentage of our parts, blah, blah, blah. Because it probably changes depending on the model, etc. I do know that the engines, so the Milwaukee 8 power plant, the transmissions, and the frames are made in America by American workers. So there's other things that are not. The speedometer probably is not. Some of the electronics might not be. But when I think of electronics, you know, I can't really think of many American electronics manufacturers. You think about Bosch, that's Germany. Think about all the, like, Toshiba, LG, it's like Korea and Japan and Taiwan, places like that. So, you know, I guess my question is, how realistic is it to expect that your American motorcycle, or your American vehicle for that matter, is totally made in America? So let me give you an example. That's a big problem. Let me give you an example. So let's say you want to buy American. So you buy a Ford automobile. And I know the pickup trucks are made in America, or at least assembled, built in America. The frames, the bodies are stamped in America. But let's say you buy a Ford Maverick, you know, that cool, smaller pickup, or a Ford Bronco Sport, or something like that. That vehicle is made in Mexico by Mexican workers. And so when you buy that vehicle, you know, who are you supporting? You know, is it the American company, or are the American workers benefiting from that because you're supporting a company that also has factories in the United States? Or are you just supporting the stockholders for Ford, you know? And I don't know the answer to that, obviously, but just something to think about. Now, along that same line of thinking, let's say you want to buy a Toyota, or a Volvo, or a Volkswagen. Well, the Atlas is made in the United States. A lot of a lot of Volvos. There's a South Carolina. There's a Volvo factory in South Carolina. And Toyota and Honda have factories in the southeast. And I believe that's because they are trying to avoid the labor unions of the northern states in the United States. But they, wow, that's pretty. But, so you're buying like a Toyota, you know, and it's made in America. It's built in America. It's assembled in America. You know, the engine's from Japan. You know, you buy a Volkswagen, the engine might be built in Germany and shipped over, and then the vehicle's assembled here. So, you know, now you're paying American workers with your, you know, you're supporting American workers with that purchase, and that's a German car company with a Volkswagen, or I think Volvo. It used to be Sweden, but I want to say Chinese owned now. I'm not sure. And you know, Honda, Toyota, you know, they're Japanese car companies. Kia, Hyundai, you know, Korean, and they have you know, all these plants here. So you're supporting American workers. You're supporting, you know, you're putting so it just, you know, makes you think, like, is it really getting worth getting that upset about? I think really, or you know, overthinking it that much. I think that we all want to support our countrymen, our country, men and women. You know, if you're an American, you live in the United States, you want to, if possible, you know, I know I want a T-shirt that's made in America. I'd love to have a vehicle that's made in America. But not everybody, that's not what everybody is about. Some people, they like their German motorcycles, you know, the BMWs. Some people like the Japanese motorcycles, the Hondas. You know, there's a lot of Goldwing fans out there, a lot of Grom fans out there. CBRs. You know, a lot of people are loyal to those brands. So buying an American motorcycle, you know, might be a dream for someone, but maybe it's not as affordable. You know, like you can get a Royal Enfield motorcycle, and it's like $6,000. You know, and you're on two wheels with a brand new motorcycle. So how cool is that? You know? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, your opinion on it. You know, like, what do you think? This is just my opinion of it. What do you think about, you know, your motorcycle has to be 100% American parts? You know, is that a realistic expectation? Is it better to support American workers? Or is it better to support American stockholders? You know? And I don't know if I'd rather support the workers, you know. I know Harley has some plants overseas as well. You know, if you're going to sell bikes in other parts of the world, sometimes that just makes sense. You know, some of it is corporate decisions and not making the average Joe Johnny American happy. to say. Drop a comment. Let me know your opinion on this topic. I think it's an interesting one, but it's also one that we have to be realistic about. And I'm probably going to strike a few chords. And I'm not trying to upset anybody. This is just my opinion, and my opinion is certainly not law. But stay blessed. Stay safe. And take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe to Referee Moto and hit that like button. It really helps me out. I appreciate you guys. All right. God bless.